Welcome back to the Boneyard podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Sheffin, along with my good friend,
Artemis Brower.
We're coming to you this week with episode 263.
263, baby.
Of the premier podcast of Pirate Nation, the Boneyard podcast. Artemis.
Talk to me.
Are we a football school again?
We might be a football school again, Jared. We might be a football school again. I haven't felt good about this program. And this program has had some real highs and some real lows. And we've been on a roller coaster ride. But like this high that we're on right now, it's a little different than what it's felt like since we have been in school. So,
I mean, I haven't felt this way about an ECU football team as I have in the last decade.
Easily. Yeah.
If you are a senior right now at East Carolina University, the last time that ECU was this relevant was when you were probably in 6th grade.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. It just, something feels different about this program, Artie. They're investing in the program. NIL is coming in. We're building an indoor practice facility. All in all, it feels like we're positioning ourselves for the next wave. And the atmosphere on Saturday was electric. I was worried there at the beginning, seeing how empty it looked. And then it did all right filling in. But I can't wait till we're rocking Dowdy with 45, 50,000 people, no matter who we're playing. And I'm hoping that's next year.
Yes. Yeah.
Get on the bandwagon. Everybody's been asking for a good team.
Buy stock now. This might be the last time to buy some stock before this thing take off. Buy it now.
It's time. It's time. Artie, episode 263. Do you have a 63 for me?
I do have a 63. My 63. This is chalk, but this is also on my theme of just, shouting out the old school guys, old school NFL right here. This is Gene Upshaw, my 63 for the week. Played for the Oakland Raiders. Only player in NFL history to play for a Super Bowl team in 3 different decades. Matter of fact, no, him and Tom Brady. I take that back. I think Tom Brady played in the Super Bowl in 3 different decades. But Gene Upshaw and Tom Brady will be the only ones to do it. 2-time Super Bowl champion, AFL champion, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time first-team All-AFL. That was before the National Football League. 5-time second-team All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, 1970s All-Decade Team, 75th NFL Anniversary Team, 100th Anniversary Team in the NFL. One of the cream of the crop guys to ever do it. And a obviously Oakland Raiders legend. So Gene Upshaw is my 63 for the week.
Nice. That's a good one. Artie, I'm going to go with the one that I've done the last 2 times. And the number 63, I say this whole thing every time. Number 63 is my favorite number. It's the number that I would wear. Just it's a random number that I like. But the number 63 is special to all Carolina Hurricanes fans, especially the OG Carolina Hurricanes fans, because it was worn by none other than Josef Vasicek, who played for the Carolina Hurricanes. And then tragically, he passed away in 2011 in the I always butcher this, the Lokomotiv Yaroslavl plane crash. He was playing in the KHL, and tragically their plane crashed,
Mm.
and everybody on board died. But number 63, Josef Vasicek, like I said, he's always been one of my favorites. And then yeah, I mean, already the whole story about your boy scoring the game-winning touchdown in intramural football. You go back and rewatch the tape. Look at the number on the back.
Yeah.
6'3".
6'3". Love it. Love it.
That touchdown was almost as clutch as Peyton Mangram's.
Not even close. Not even close. Ingram had a defender draped all over him.
Trying
to kiss him in the mouth, and he caught the football.
I broke at least like 6 ankles.
Now I will say, Jared had the big boy. You know, he was making. I was like, "There's no way Jared is making these moves."
I may be big.
Slow motion breaking of the ankles, but my boy did it.
I mean the stutter step into the spin move.
Yeah.
20
The whole
yards.
process took about 15 seconds, but he pulled it off.
Hey, they don't ask how long. It was because already it felt like it was 15 seconds. It was all slow motion. Everything looked slow motion. And it was like actually slow motion. So
I'll be honest, watching it was great. Like just being able to watch you do it was like he's actually doing good for him. He's look at him out here doing that.
one of the most like best athletic accomplishments in my life. I mean, I won a state junior Olympics in hockey, and that I still credit that as being one of my best athletic accomplishments. The best part was when the I can't remember which fraternity we were playing. It was one of the Divine Nine fraternities, and the guy came
Omega Psi Phi. I'll always remember it was Omega.
And the guy came up to me. He's like, "I'm not mad. I'm not mad that y'all beat us. I'm mad the big white boy beat me." And I had never felt a sense of pride like that pride that I felt that night. But anyways, Artie, we're not going to talk about anything else. All we're talking about tonight is East Carolina football. I can talk about basketball. They got worked. That's all you need to know. They got worked. UNCW, you got the dub. This may be, honestly, I may not talk about basketball all year. This team is trash.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
We've sat through some bad basketball teams here at East Carolina. This is probably the worst of them.
Not looking good. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna call them the worst this yet because we've had some bad ones. So
I don't know. I mean, you almost lost to Elizabeth City State University.
Yes, you're very accurate on that.
You got worked by UNCW tonight. No. All right, Artie. ECU, Memphis.
Oh.
Talk to me. How are we feeling after the Pirates take down the Tigers?
Well, look, I'll be honest. I'm jealous because I wasn't at the game. You were there. You were at the game. You witnessed it. You saw it. I just had to sit here and watch on TV. And then, obviously I was at some events, so I had to finish watching on my phone while I was at these events. But I'm like, oh, my God, this is the one game that you probably should have been at, Artemis. You probably should have gone to this game. I still had fun regardless where I was at. But this was the one game where it's like, okay, like I missed this one. This was kind of one of those culture-changing, kind of program-defining wins. It feels like I just feel like so many things with this game. So many things: the ups, the downs, the second half, the resiliency, the fourth quarter comeback, the catch by Ingram, the boys up there in section 22 with the shirts off. Felt like 10,000 of them up there waving their shirts, the storming of the field, and I'm sure we'll get into the storming. So many things with this game. But that's one of those games in a nutshell that feels like an opportunity to really change the culture, really define what we can be going forward, really kind of move the needle and what we can be going forward. And it really depends on what we do going, like can ECU really take this and run off with it? Can a win like this really change the program? And can this actually catapult us into what we need to be getting back to national relevancy and doing what we got to do? I feel like I'm by myself in here. Do I still have Josh? There he is. There he is. I'm like, where the hell did Jerry go?
Tarps off for the boys. Hell yeah. That was awesome to watch.
It was amazing.
Was awesome.
I just hope that this can actually do what it looked like. It looked like the type of win that can propel this program into the next stage of what it should be, right? Not mediocrity, but consistently competing for conference championships and putting ourselves in a position to be there at the very end, year in and year out. Now, we still got a lot to go this season. This season is nowhere near done. We're still in the thick of it. We're on a 4-game winning streak. We absolutely have a chance to play for a conference championship. It's still a long shot, but we have a chance. We're still right there in it. So this season, everything is really out there in front of us right now in this moment. But that win against Memphis felt different. It just felt a little different, and it felt like it kind of catapulted something. And I hope it does.
It felt like, and I kind of joked about this as we were walking to the post-game availability. The way that it all went down, it felt like when I think about the last 10 years of East Carolina football, I think about what started this whole mess. And I constantly go back to the UCF Hail Mary. And it felt like what happened Saturday inside Dowdy Ficklin Stadium, the energy and the excitement around this program just came in and hit us like a damn lightning bolt.
Right.
And nobody really knew what to do with that energy. And with that, it felt like everybody just kind of like, oh crap, like we're back. ECU football is back. And from the fans that have been here through all the bullshit and the fans that are new and the students that stayed, and shout out Coach Harrell giving out, free beers to Sup Dogs after the game for staying till the fourth quarter. Like, that was sick. And the energy just carried on. And then the tarps came off. And I was sitting up there in the press box. I was like, damn, I really want to be up there or down there.
So also, to those just now tuning in that didn't see it, yes, Jared has his shirt off. He absolutely has his shirt off right now. I apologize. In advance. If you're coming in late, if you're just now catching this, yes.
Why? Why are you apologizing, Artie?
Because it's a lot of man right there. I don't know if people are ready for that.
Artie, there's a lot of man up there in the Boneyard going on Saturday. There's a lot of moving skin up there.
I was honestly asked to Ashley, I was like, where did that even come? I know it has to be some sort of trend.
No, it started at Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Started at Oklahoma State about 3-4 weeks ago. And it's just taking the nation by storm. They were doing it at James Madison. Originally, it started as something that kind of like amped up your fan or amped up your student or your like athletes, your football team. And it just kind of like took off. And it was supposed to be like something for like the teams that aren't doing well. And then all of a sudden it just turned into everybody in the country's doing it.
I love it.
Like, Artie, I'll say, and I've been torn on how I was going to react to this ever since it happened Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been, and like I feel like I've always been the field storming police.
Anti-field storming. Yes, you have been the field storming police. Now you better not sit here and switch up and be like, "Yes, I'm all for
I
the."
I'm not switching up entirely. I still think, hey, look, you look at our record against Memphis, we own Memphis.
Right. This is not a team we lose to all the time.
But
not a thing.
After being at that game and already when Caden Hauser fumbled that football, I was like, oh boy, here we go again. We're gonna find ECU is gonna find a way to lose this football game. And they held them. The defense did its job, held them to a field goal. You have 2.5 minutes left. I'm like, okay, I've seen this show before. We're still gonna screw it up somehow. We're gonna fumble it. We're not gonna be able to execute. You go down and you score with 1 minute and 9 seconds left. And even then I was like, oh boy, we left too much time on the clock.
Yeah.
And with that, I was I was thinking, oh, here we go. And when ECU won, I was telling Brandon was up there in the press box with me. I said, they're gonna storm. And he said, no way, they're gonna storm. And I said, they're gonna storm. Like, look at them. They're going down. They're getting ready to go down and get on the field. And you saw like a mass exodus out of the Boneyard and waiting in the wings by the Memphis locker room, ready to come on the field. And when they did that, something felt that, hey, we are breaking the chains of the absolute shit show of Jeff Compher and Cecil Staten and Scotty Montgomery and Mike Houston, and East Carolina football is back. So while I'm still anti-field storming when you beat a team that honestly has the same record as you and you own and lost to UAB earlier.
And not ranked either.
God, I would have loved for them to have beaten Tulane the week before. That would have been so much better.
Yes, that would have been so much better. Because then you're talking about a 9-1 Memphis team that is ranked probably in the top 20. And then I understand that. But I just it felt like a premature storming to me. Like, I feel like we're going to have bigger wins than that.
We are.
If we're taking off the way I think we might be taking off, we're going to have bigger wins than
that.
But
I already, most of the time, and look, we were favored in the game. I was going into the game fully thinking that we would win that game. And I agree. Like, I agree. No, I wouldn't want to storm the field. Now, I also was there during the riot at Tar River back in 2014.
Both were.
And I remember the mob mentality of, hey, I need to go left, and everybody else went right. And that's just what happened. You got a bunch of dudes with their shirts off, a bunch of testosterone pumping in the Boneyard. Shit happens, Artie.
What I thought was funny, because when you're seeing it on TV, they were trying to stop one section of kids from coming out. The whole other section of the Boneyard is bleeding out onto the field, and then they're trying to stop this other. And it's like, at this point, it is what it is. Just let everybody come out at this point. Like,
and I want to set the record straight. The students aren't the ones that tore down the field goal. They're not the one.
The goalpost.
They did not tear down the goalpost. I'm setting the story straight. ECU Athletics went out there just in case they were, and they took it down.
Okay.
Then the students picked up the goalpost, and the goalpost broke. And when it broke, they just said, okay, we're going to set this back down. And then as I was leaving the stadium, I saw it looked like they were carrying the goal, like the uprights. And then it was like a optical illusion. They like all went in different directions, and I was like, "Oh shit! Like that thing's apart."
Hey, look, you gotta look if you're gonna do that, you gotta do it like a Tennessee, right? You gotta go all the way. You gotta take it to the Tar River, and you gotta throw that thing in the river.
I
You
agree.
gotta take it all the way to the Tar.
Could you imagine the vibes of taking that thing to the Tar River?
All the way to the Tar River, and throw that thing in the river. If you gonna do it. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Artie, anything else? I wanted to talk. So ECU wins 31-27. Coach Hurl has ECU at 5-1 in the conference, tied for first place. And then let's talk a little bit about how we got there. London Montgomery didn't have like an insane night. He rushed for 100 yards, but that was on 27 carries, averaging about 3.5 yards per carry. Had 2 touchdowns. Shout out the parlay that just almost cashed. Like it was that close to cashing. Yep. That I had. I needed an Anthony Smith touchdown. Didn't happen. He's rushed for at least 1 score in his last 4 games. Yannick Smith caught 3 passes for 50 yards, including a 39-yard reception in the first quarter, giving him 583 on the year and 1,017 for his career. And then Anthony Smith had a quiet game. 7 passes for 62 yards. His season total of 51 receptions for 745 yards, both leading the team. I really thought he was going to have a bigger game, especially after Yannick went down in the first half. Hopefully, at first the injury didn't look that bad, but the fact that he didn't come back from it,
right?
I hope it's nothing too serious.
Could this be precautionary? Hopefully, it is. Precautionary. It's not anything too serious. I mean, other guys stepped up. Right? I mean, Anthony did his thing. He did what was asked of him, but other guys stepped up. Obviously, Mangrum. That catch by Spalding that was just barely not a touchdown. I mean, that's Sports Center top 10.
That might have been
incredible play.
The catch of the year in the American
absolutely incredible play.
That was, you want to talk about having a receiver draped all over you. Right. Pass interference, reaching around him, grabbing it with one arm before it hits the ground. Absolutely insane. And the fact that like he didn't get the touchdown out of that. I hate that for him, but hey,
still
explosive play, hell of a catch. And all I could think about during that game was when he fumbled the ball, his dad getting onto him. His dad must have been irate that he fumbled that football. But closing it out, I mean, look, already the Heisman Trophy is for the most outstanding college football player and showing an excellent degree of it's something like a high degree of excellence in their gamesmanship and sportsmanship.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be on anybody's ballots, but it's time to start the Mike Wright for Heisman conversation. What can't this man do?
I mean, yeah. Offense, defense, special teams. Literally. Offense, defense, special teams.
I think if you asked him to go out there and drill a 35-yard field goal,
he might be able to do it. Yeah,
I think he could.
Yeah.
They had him returning kicks, lined up to return kicks. He lined up at quarterback at one point, lined up at running back at one point, lined up as wide receiver, played cornerback, had 2 punts over 45 yards, one of them being 53 yards and the other being down inside the 9-yard line. That's your backup quarterback. Oh, and by the way, they didn't realize that he could punt like that until Wednesday. Coach Harrell said it was going to be between him and Anthony Smith punting, and they saw Mike Wright punt, and they told Anthony Smith to go back to the ones on offense because they had Mike Wright and they didn't need anybody else.
I'll tell you what. In terms of someone doing his last year of football right, doing his last few years of eligibility right, that's exactly how you want to do it, right? Obviously, he knows he's not going to the league. He knows this is it. Like, I'm going on my last. I'm about to just go out here and shine in every phase of the game, every single phase of the game.
My only question is, what group does he work out with for pro day? Like, I mean, like, how do you participate in every single drill during pro day?
Not to mention he got the interception to seal the game.
Yeah, that's the craziest part. Like, first interception in his career, first punts of his career.
And
I mean,
this is not a gimmick either. You could throw Mike Wright out there every week, and he can do these things.
He's been playing DB for 4 weeks now.
Yeah.
He even faked the lateral in the end zone during that kickoff return.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else noticed that. Like, he acted like he was going to take it out, then he turned like he was going to throw it.
Like, this is not a joke, not a gimmick. This is a legit weapon, an actual weapon that ECU has in Mike Wright. Like,
I don't know. Maybe that's our first T-shirt, Mike Wright for Heisman. Kane Hauser, 23 of 34, 332 yards and a TD. His 300-yard effort was the sixth of his Pirate career. Scored his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. And then, of course, Peyton Mangrum caught 2 passes for 43 yards, including the 31-yard touchdown pass. The first of his career. Happy for him.
Yeah.
Happy for him. He's talking to him post-game. You could tell how much that meant to him to kind of prove, okay, I belong here. I belong playing D1 football. He hasn't really had the chances that he thought he would coming out of high school, going to South Carolina, and then coming to ECU. He thought he was going to probably have a bigger role at ECU, but it just never really shook out for him. And to do that on senior night, it really was something. Defense, Jamarly Riddle, 9 tackles, 5 solo, tied a season high. Zion Wilson, 5 tackles, 3 solo, which included two sacks for 14 yards. Samuel Danka looked like he was all over the place.
Yeah, sure did.
DJ Johnson Jr., tied his career high with 8 stops. Just all around defense, stellar. And then, of course, Nick Mazie, all 4 point after tries, pushing his season total to be 34 for 34. And he also hit a 49-yard field goal in the second quarter and is now 12 of 14 on the year. Already, we haven't done this in a while. Bad to the bone player of the week. I know who I'm going with. To me, it's got to be Mike Wright. Honorable mention, I would say Brock Spalding.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mike Wright, Brock Spalding, just with that singular catch, just da-da-da, da-da-da. And then I'm going to give some love to the quarterback, too. Caton did his thing. 6 games with over 300 yards passing. Smooth, calm, cool, collected, captain of the ship.
And on defense, the guy not named Mike Wright, Zion Wilson. Dude it seemed like every other play he was celebrating in the backfield. All right, Artie. ECU is 7-3. They got a tall test ahead of them this weekend. Heading down to San Antonio. Artie, I don't think I've ever felt the humidity that I felt the time I visited San Antonio in August. That was the worst experience of my life. It was a great place, great food, great people.
Yeah.
Beautiful city. The humidity damn near killed your boy. But luckily, you don't have to worry about the humidity. It's November, and also you're going to be playing in a dome, one of the loudest places to play in college football. You're going down to the Alamo Dome, a place where, hey, Jeff Traylor has his Roadrunners 24-0 in conference play. Let's bring in Jared from the Alamo Audible. Jared, welcome to the Boneyard podcast, my friend. How's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Thanks for having me, guys.
The pleasure is all ours. I apologize. I haven't had a chance to put my shirt back on yet.
Okay, I was like wondering what. I mean, I know you guys are excited about the big win last week, but I was like, man, they're really feeling it. Really feeling it.
I was apologizing to people in advance about Jared having the show. So.
I joined. Someone had their shirt off. You guys were talking about a Heisman candidate. I was like, oh man, it's lit in Greenville. Let's go.
We are most definitely feeling ourselves.
Amazing.
Like it feels good. I'll
well
admit,
deserved. It's been too long, right?
Yeah, that's exactly how we feel. And I was alluding to the Tarps off phenomenon that's sweeping the country, because that's what seemed to really change the momentum in ECU Memphis this past weekend. So here I am in all my glory.
Love it.
But Jared, welcome to the Boneyard podcast, man. And it's been kind of up and down. What are you going to get out of UTSA this year type of season? I know that seems like some of the fan base is, hey, like we've been in a lot of games. Our record could be better. Some of the fan base is talking about, hey, like maybe we need to move on from Jeff Traylor, which sounds insane considering he's 24-0 in conference at home. I know y'all did have you had a decent losing streak going on the road. You seem to take that aggression out against our neighbors down in Concord this past weekend. Talk to me. What's kind of going on with UTSA right now?
It's been a weird year for sure. I mean, heading into the season, the talk was like, the offense is totally loaded. You bring back all of the production. The quarterback's back. All of his favorite targets are back. You've got a lot of depth on the offensive line. Great running back coming in. It should be a really explosive offense. It's really consistent. It looks really polished. And then the defense was a huge question mark, right? They turned over pretty much that entire two deep on the defensive side. Then the season starts and the offense just looks completely out of whack. And, they've had some games where it's looked okay and they've kind of put it together. But overall, the offense has really, really struggled with consistency. They've had some explosives mixed in, but it's been kind of tough to watch. A lot of penalties, a lot of drops, missed assignments. There were even some periods in some of the games where it seems like there was some like animosity between some players, like they're kind of arguing with each other and stuff. So it's been strange. It's not been a complete train wreck of a season, but it has been a disappointment for sure. And they've dropped some games they certainly should have won. I think the Texas State game and the Temple game are like the top two examples. If Jeff Traylor and his guys win those two, I think the narrative is like drastically different, and people would be really fired up about what they've seen this year. But that, and then just the complete no-shows on the road in some games, like they're not just like losing on the road and having these losing streaks for road conference teams. I mean, they're just not even showing up to some of them. Like the UNT game, the South Florida game, both of those were just awful showings. I mean, they were getting trucked, just no physicality at all. So it's tough to watch your team get, 50 burgers dropped on them, and the players just kind of look like they're going through the motions out there.
Yeah. How would you say the fan base, the alumni, the media, they feel about this regime and kind of UTSA going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think 90% plus are probably still big Jeff Traylor fans, but there's also some frustration. Jeff has been pretty hesitant to make any major changes to his program. He's very focused on player retention and keeping guys at the portal and all of that. And he's very loyal to his players and his coaching staff as well. So there's definitely a lot like building frustration for sure. But I think most people like Traylor. They're very appreciative of all the work that he's done in San Antonio. They just, the fact that people are upset about a potential 6-win, 7-win season, says a lot from where this program has come previously. But I also think like you kind of have seen the same thing for 2 or 3 years in a row now. And I think a lot of people are worried about the program just kind of falling into mediocrity and, just getting the bowl wins, is enough for this versus, really aspiring to be at the top of the conference.
Yeah, it seems, UTSA came in 3 years ago now, and when they did, it was okay. They kind of took over, and they seem to be primed and ready for American Conference play and trying to run this conference year in and year out. And it just seems like each year you've taken a step back. Talk to me. I mean, what needs to change in San Antonio for it to go back in the other direction to get back to competing for that conference championship?
That's a great question. I mean, I think there were some really special talents in that 2023 team and before, right? That's, Frank Harris at quarterback is the very obvious one. But there were a lot of players that ended up in the league or, transferred to Power 4 programs and have been productive there. So, I think that's a big part of it is like that was a really special group and it's hard to replicate that year in and year out. I think too, just the preparation for some games has been concerning. And, obviously it's pretty easy to point the finger at the coordinators, but, who knows, it could be more complex than that. Like the motivation aspect for a lot of those road games is really weird that's been a problem for so long and they can't figure that out where they just come out completely flat. And then obviously it's going to be hard to ever compete with Memphis, Tulane, USF consistently when they are so drastically ahead of UTSA when it comes to revenue sharing and NIL and all that kind of stuff. So there's like the off the field component as well.
What would you say has been the major, key components to success for this team during this season? Like, what are the driving factors that are motivating this team, keeping this team kind of, at even kill throughout the season?
Yeah. Playing in the Alamo for whatever it is, they are really freaking good there. They have special powers that just radiate through that building, evidently. So, they're a completely different team when they're there versus on the road. But, I think that they are a pretty tight-knit group. They have done a good job relative to other programs of keeping the roster together for the most part. They're going to lose a handful of guys every year that are really talented and are going to make them move up to a power program. There's no way you can really avoid that if you're a program in the American or lower. But overall, it's not like they're going and getting 40, 50 guys out of the portal every year, completely tearing it down. So I think that's a benefit. I think they have been really good on both sides of the trenches for the most part. Really good might be pushing it, but they've been very solid, I would say. The front seven on defense is really strong. They really don't give up a whole lot in terms of the run game. And then, I think Owen McCowan, he's had his struggles for sure. And I think sometimes his receivers have probably made him look a little bit worse than maybe he actually has been. But he is still, at least in the top half of the conference as far as quarterback talent goes. So when you've got a good guy back there, calling the signals and dishing the ball around, you've got a chance to win.
And to that point, that was the thing that kind of seemed to really lead ECU in their victory over UT San Antonio last year was getting pressure on Owen McCown. And I mean, there's the picture that ECU fans love to share of McCown's helmet flying off.
Yeah, I remember that one.
In the moment, it was fun and funny. But overall, like, ECU has been doing really good at getting pressure on quarterbacks. McCown's not the most – I mean, he's not really a true dual threat quarterback. He can move the pocket, but it seems like he's somebody that he needs to get rid of the ball quick in a game like this.
And I'll say too, I mean, this season he's definitely taken a step back in terms of mobility. He's been playing through a lot of injury for sure. That's something that fans had kind of suspected just watching him. He's a little, he's got a little, what would you call it? Like kind of a weird gait, I guess you could say this year. It looked like something was up, and then, sure enough, UTSA upsets Tulane, and then we hear, oh yeah, Owen McCowan's had like 3 different injuries that he's played through this season. So I think that is really key. They've done a good job of protecting him this season. He hasn't taken a lot of sacks, but ECU's got a really good defensive front, and they are for sure going to bring pressure. And I don't think Owen is at the point where he can gracefully get around that and make plays, outside the pocket. So he's going to have to be smart and throw the ball away when he needs to.
Yeah, I would say, ECU has a pretty balanced attack so far, right? I mean, offensively, we kind of have a good groove now. We kind of have an identity offensively. I feel like the entire season we've had an identity. Defensively, as far as our run game, our run defense, I should say. What would you say is the key factors for UTSA not only making this a game, but if they're going to win this game, what has to go right for them?
Yeah. Ooh, I think the most pressing item that I'd be most concerned about is how the UTSA secondary is going to hold up against those top 3 receivers that ECU has. From an outsider's perspective, that's the biggest change that I see for this team compared to like the last 2 seasons is like they can really stretch the field vertically now when that wasn't, as much of a consistent risk the past couple of years. UTSA secondary is young. I don't think they're like super talented, right? There's not a lot of like former 4 stars back there, so that's a huge concern, right? The depth is going to be tested as well, especially the cornerback position. They had some really tough luck there with injuries and guys transferring at the last minute. They actually have a guy who came, Ahmad Chapman. He joined super late, so he wasn't ready to play in the early season. And he played against Tulane, kind of came out of nowhere. He looked like a really solid cornerback, but they want to redshirt him. So he can only play 1 more game this season to maintain his redshirt. So do you play him against ECU or do you play him against Army? ECU is probably the choice because they got a better passing offense. But if they set him out this game and they play him for the Army game, then, that takes off, probably the second most talented corner on this roster that's active. So I think that's the biggest matchup to watch there.
And if ECU is gonna somehow break the streak that Jeff Traylor's got these Roadrunners on, what are they gonna need to do on Saturday at 3:30 Eastern time?
Man, I think just don't stop scoring, right? Make it a shootout as much as you can, because UTSA has had some like serious execution problems to where even if they find some matchups that are working for them against ECU, they're probably going to have, some 15-yard penalties that take them out of field goal range. They're probably going to have some turnovers, stuff like that. So if ECU can just kind of keep up the scoring and let UTSA beat themselves with like self-inflicted errors, that's going to be a pretty good path to victory.
I do want to ask, what do you think is going into the mystique of the Alamo Dome? Like that kind of stretch, that winning streak. I mean, that's
crazy.
What do you think has gone into that?
The winning streak is one thing, right? You do hear about schools that go 2 or 3 years and they win every game at home. But to combine that with like you can't win at all in conference on the road is the wildest thing. And like they're losing to some pretty bad teams, so it's very strange. I really think the acoustics of the Alamo Dome is part of it, because whether there's 30, 35,000 people in there or 5,000, it gets really loud, right? The noise just bounces off of that roof. So I think that's a big aspect because it's just a different kind of loud than, if you're at an outdoor stadium with, 70,000 fans, right? It's just different. There's like that reverb aspect. So that's part of it. I think the team's just really comfortable as well. I think they've got their like kind of pre-game routine figured out. The lack of elements as well, right? It does affect the passing game, especially in certain stadiums where, if you have a lot of loft on the football and the wind can kind of catch it and pull it a little bit, that is something that receivers have to adjust to. So feels like a stretch. I don't know. But it is a really strange thing. If someone has an answer, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. The question I have is, and I have a feeling I know, and I do know, you've been to the Alamo Dome. Are we sure there's no funny business being pumped into there?
Man, I don't know. I mean, they do the same stuff every school does. Like the band plays a second or two longer than they should, right? They play the music over the PA, right? Again, I just think because it's a domed environment and it is like kind of cavernous as well. It's a really, really big stadium. So I think the echo has something to do with it as well. I don't think that they're like pushing in like artificial fake fan noise, but I think just the general volume that you get from the speakers and stuff, it just keeps the crowd engaged.
Now, for UTSA to continue this streak, I mean, you talked about what ECU can do, but what does UTSA need to do against ECU?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to have consistency in the run game, which is going to be really challenging against a really strong ECU defense that's very fundamentally sound, very athletic. But I mean, I think that's the only way that they're going to have a chance to win this one is if they can like consistently pick up first downs on the ground. The passing game's just been so wildly inconsistent, and they have had times where that passing game has been humming. but it's not been consistent enough. They do have two good backs that I think, have the skill to pick up some yardage when the opportunity presents himself. I don't know how many like great rushing lanes they're going to have, but Rob Henry and Will Henderson are both really talented backs. So they're the kind of guys like you don't have to have a big hole. Like they've got the ability to jump outside and get that cutback lane and pick up 20 yards on kind of a fluky kind of run. So I think that's going to be a big potential area for them to do really well. Just those two guys making very special individual plays.
Now switching gears. We talked about the secondary, but you also talked about the strength of this front seven on defense. Yeah. Who's some guys that ECU should be looking out for come Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, I would start with the Jack linebacker, Shad Banks. He's a transfer from TCU. He was on that national runner-up team at TCU. It was a starter on that team, and he's been really good. He kind of fell out of like the starting rotation at TCU and wanted to go somewhere he would be the guy. He had a lot of connections with the UTSA program, and he came in, and the expectations for him are really high. I mean, I think I said in our preseason preview, like this defense is only going to be as good as Shad Banks is. And at UTSA they do the whole single digit thing. So getting a single digit, you're kind of like a team leader. And if you're in the 210, which is the area code, you're like the top guy. And he got one of those. He was the first time any incoming transfer has ever gotten a 210 number. So I think that says a lot about not only his ability but his leadership as well. And he's just an awesome player to watch. He's all over the field. He's a hard hitter. He had a brutal hit on the Charlotte quarterback last week. I was surprised that guy came back into the game after. Just a really explosive player. I think safety Jimmy Wyrick is pretty solid. And that defensive line, it's kind of like pick your poison. I mean, they're super deep, just like ECU. They rotate a lot. But Kenny Ozawalu is a guy that I would keep an eye on. He's number 94. So I can't remember the name of the ECU defensive lineman. That's like a former walk-on that leads the team in sacks and tackle for loss.
Zion Wilson.
Yeah. So he's like UTSA's version of Zion Wilson. He actually does a post-sack celly where he does like the walk-on with his fingers, which is pretty cool. So he's one to watch as well.
Nice.
Love that. Artie, anything else you have? I mean,
yeah. Last question I had. Look, 2 games left. You got East Carolina. You've got Army. Does UTSA get to a bowl game?
I think they will. I mean, ECU definitely has the edge this week, no doubt. The line is like way closer than it probably should be, which maybe means Vegas knows something. But I think
they know about that crowd noise y'all pumping.
Yeah, no, right. So I think between that and they'll probably be favored against Army. I think they're going to find a way to win one of the two at home. I can definitely picture that home winning streak ending this week, but I can't picture them losing 2 in a row at home. That would be pretty unprecedented. So I think they'll find a way. Army's kind of had UTSA's number historically, so we'll see how that plays out. But if that's the last game to get to 6 wins, I think they'll find a way to beat Army.
Good contingent of Pirate fans down there in Texas. I'm sure several making the trek over to San Antonio. Any recommendations on where to eat, where to hang out, tailgate before the game?
Yeah, for sure. So the tailgate scene's awesome. I mean, I think ECU fans will feel right at home. We've got 2 big surface lots right next to the dome. The fans are super friendly. They love seeing visiting fans. So definitely don't be afraid to hit up any of them. And lot B and lot C there, people they love to see the visiting fans. So don't be afraid to ask for a beer and ask them what's cooking. They'll definitely hook you up. As far as out on the town, Pinkerton's Barbecue is the place that I always recommend for people that are visiting from out of state. Obviously the barbecue style is different from what you guys are used to in the Carolinas, but Texas barbecue, it's awesome. Just make sure you get the brisket. There could be a line of Pinkertons, but trust me, it's worth it. Like it's an awesome experience. And then as far as the nightlife goes, Esquire Tavern is my number one go-to. It's more of a kind of speakeasy cocktail kind of vibe, but it's a super old bar right on the Riverwalk. If you want something that's a little bit more laid back and casual, there's an outdoor spot called the Friendly Spot, and that's in the Southtown neighborhood, which is kind of like more of an arts district. But that's a really cool, like local place to hang out and just a cool vibe, very very friendly, casual.
You talking about the tailgating and the city environment. It brought another question to my mind, and something that ECU doesn't really have this problem, but like these schools that are not the biggest school in their state and play in a major metro, always wonder, like, how's the city doing adopting UTSA as its own?
Yeah, I think they're pretty good, honestly, compared to like most other like kind of urban schools like UTSA. I think it helps that UTSA's campus is like kind of spread out across the city now. So they really modeled after Arizona State on that, where like they have all these different campuses that are spread around. So like everywhere you go, you see some kind of UTSA building insignia, especially now that they merged with the medical school that's in San Antonio. Like their presence across the town is huge. And you know, I think the locals are, you know, there's a bandwagon city. The same when the Spurs are doing well, everyone's crazy for the Spurs, and when the Spurs are bad, you don't really hear much about them. So if UTSA is winning, I think there's a lot of excitement. You know, you'll see businesses put up the billboards and all that kind of stuff. But I think what's cool too is like UTSA has never really been a threat to like the A&Ms and the UTs of the world. So people are happy to adopt them as like, you know, their secondary team, and, you know, they'll go to a couple of games a year, even if they didn't graduate from there. And, you know, they may still wear their Longhorn cap in the stands and something like that, but that's cool. I'm happy to accept that. But you know, overall, I think we've got it pretty good compared to like a Charlotte or UAB or someone like that.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, Jared, best of luck. Apologies that I'm not the most professionally dressed.
Hey, I can't tell you how many of these I've done. I don't think I've ever had a shirtless host before. So
the entire time I was like, it's hard to take Jared seriously with this shirt on.
I've joked, I don't know how many times about doing a podcast shirtless, and now I get to mark that off.
Yeah. Well, I always said I'm rooting for UTSA this week, but I'm rooting for ECU the rest of the way. Love the program. The fan base is awesome. So I'm really happy to see you guys back in the spotlight where you deserve to be, frankly.
We appreciate that, and we appreciate your sentiments. And after this weekend, we'll be pulling for y'all against Army, and hoping y'all make that bowl game after ECU gets theirs this weekend. Hopefully.
Sounds good.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
All right.
Appreciate you having me.
Thanks, Jared.
Appreciate you, Jared.
Once again, that was Jared from the Alamo Audible. It's always weird seeing another Jared. Like, I don't know any other Jareds, really. There's one in my high school.
You've never ran into any other Jareds outside of one in high school?
There was one Jared that I met in college.
Common name. That's not like something you just.
But see, it is now. But when we were kids, it wasn't.
No, Jared was a common name when we were kids.
Not where I'm from, Artie.
Probably 2, probably 3 Jareds.
Everybody was named John or Chase or
John, Chase, Kyle. There's a lot of
Kyle. Shout out Kyle. Our boy's getting married.
Tell you what, though, it's not a lot of Artemis. Only know one other Artemis, and he is the man that conceived me. So,
what's that? Greek mythology?
Yeah.
What is Artemis?
The goddess of the moon and the hunt. But that's actually not where I got my name from.
No. I don't even want I got my name from a guy that my mom had a crush on in high school. My middle name is even worse.
It could be worse. It could be worse.
My middle name is the worst.
Out here named that have terrible reasons why they're named that. So,
Ari, Artemis Randall.
Yes, sir.
That interview was brought to you by, I'm not wearing it anymore, but Roback. Use Boneyard 20 for 20% off your first order at roback.com. They got some new stuff out, so go out there and get it. Roback.com. Boneyard 20% off.
First off, I feel out of place right now, man. Josh has got the pirate script hat on. Jared's got the old school PD. I'm just sitting here with no bucket on. I feel out of place.
Hey.
How do you think I'm the one without a shirt on, Artie? You feel out of place?
You decided to do that though. That was a choice.
I told Brandon I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, to all of my Roback fans though, don't use it's okay if you don't use the code right now and just take the 20% off, right? Just because they got the big sale going on, 20% off the site already. Right?
But you use it this time because it's only on your first order.
It's only on your, but it's exactly so. Use if you already got an account, go ahead and use the 20%. That's regular.
Don't
but
tell
if
us.
you want more, second purchase, right?
All I'm saying, if you need to create another email and get you a little something off your road back, Boneyard 20. Do not tell them that we're telling y'all this. That I mean,
at all.
all right. Walk the plank. Anybody got to walk the plank?
Do I have to walk the plank? I feel like no, I don't think I do.
Virginia Tech.
What about Virginia Tech?
Walk the plank for following down the same path of hiring a former Penn State coach who coached there at the same time that Franklin coached there. Because, they did get Franklin. And because they are going to help Penn State by offsetting the amount Penn State has to pay to James Franklin. So I know that James had a duty to offset, but he didn't have to go so hard.
Like,
so they're picking up the tab.
Yeah,
so to speak.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, Coach Houston obviously didn't have a duty to offset.
he's just out there working for Clemson, beating Louisville on the road, fucking up the ACC, and getting paid by ECU.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
What a great time.
Honestly, I'm so happy with East Carolina football. I have nothing that I'm mad about.
Snaps. Jared is not mad. That is snaps.
Give me a little bit and I'm sure I'll think of something. But right now, I'm vibing. I'm chilling. No shoes, no shirt. We're chilling, baby. We are chilling.
Love it.
I mean, real shot at a 10-win football season, boys.
It's still there. It's still there.
That is true. That is true.
Dare I say 11? Mm-mm.
No, we're not going to go that far this yet. 1-0 mentality, baby. 1-0 mentality. Not going there this yet.
1-0.
UTSA's on the clock, baby. All right. Gambling corner. What we got?
All right. First game, our upcoming opponents. We only got one left, guys. The season is over. It's just done. Only got one more upcoming opponent. And they're playing a familiar foe. It's UConn on the road, traveling to our conference, our new conference bottom feeder, FAU. UConn is minus 290 outright, 7-point favorite. FAU plus 235. Over under is 65.5. UConn all the way.
I don't think you could pay me enough money to watch this football game.
I haven't heard about these two programs all season. I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot about UConn, and I forgot about FAU. And when I think about FAU, I'm like, oh shit, that's right. They are in the American. They do compete athletically in the American Conference. I just forgot about FAU.
I mean, UConn's had a sneaky decent season.
Yes.
They're 8-3 with a win over Duke, win over Air Force.
Boston College on the road.
Is it Jim Moore?
Yes.
Jim Moore head coach in there? He's a good coach.
I think is he still the head coach?
Yes.
Yeah. Jim Moore's a good coach. But I still haven't heard about UConn. 8-3, and I haven't heard about it.
8-3, some decent wins in there. I mean, they did lose to Delaware early in the season. They have basically played a MAC and American Conference schedule.
They could have beaten Syracuse.
They could have.
Like when Syracuse had their quarterback. Like this is a really good football team.
They did lose to
some people.
Rice. They did lose to Rice.
But this was their last game of the season, though.
Watch out for Rice this weekend. Just gonna say, watch out for Rice this weekend. So Josh, you took UConn to cover.
Yeah, UConn covering, but the under. I don't think 65 points are being scored here.
Yeah, that's a lot of points. Now I'll say UConn has played in a lot of shootouts this year where they've had UConn has scored 30 or more points in all but 3 of their games. And their defense isn't that great either. And FAU can put up points. Zach Kitley, the dude is a fucking pine tree out there. Dude's massive. I'm gonna take UConn to cover, and I'm gonna take the I'll 65.5 is a lot of points. I'm gonna take the under.
Yeah, Florida Atlantic sitting at 4-6, UConn sitting at 8-3. I haven't followed any of these programs, so I just have to go with the better team, the team that should win this game. So I'm gonna go with UConn. I'm gonna go with Mora and the boys. Give me the over. Why not? I don't care. Give me the over. UConn, give me the over. Obviously, they cover.
Anything to make it not a lock, right? Next game up.
So that way somebody has to hit.
Right, somebody has to. Next game up is the biggest game in the state of North Carolina this weekend. The Dukies, minus 258 outright, 6.5 point road favorite at UNC, plus 210 outright. Over-unders 51.5. What happened to these two programs?
What do you mean what happened to them?
They're the same thing they've always been.
Yeah, the exact same thing they've always been. I don't know what you mean what happened to these two. Same basketball.
They used to have 10-win seasons,
Yeah.
When was the last time Carolina had a 10-win season?
And they had what's his name? Fedora?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Larry had a 10-win.
Yeah, he took them to a conference championship or two. Fedora was kind of a good coach for them. But yeah, I'll go ahead and take this one. I'm taking Duke. I'm taking Duke to cover, and I'm going to take the over.
After what I saw Wake Forest do, I'm taking Duke. I'm taking Duke to cover as well. Artie, you had the over?
I had the over.
Yeah, I've got to go over.
All right. In the last, real quick.
Oh, I'm going under. Sorry, going under.
Okay.
Under. Darian Mensah's not really that guy no more.
Yeah, that's true. UNC could only score maybe 10 or less, so I can see that.
In the last 25 years, Carolina has one 10-win season. Any guesses on what season that was?
Like 2016, 2017.
Close, 2015.
And it was Larry Fedora. I know it's Fedora.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think anybody's questioning you on that. That was, that was kind of like starting the coming out party of Mitch Trubisky. Shout out Artie's Bears. Quite possibly one of the worst draft picks ever.
Yep, because you had Patrick Mahomes sitting there right behind him.
Yep. College football casual. Okay. I'm messing with y'all. Y'all both took Duke?
Yeah.
Y'all both took the over?
Duke's going to win this game comfortably.
I took the under. I already took the over.
Yeah, I took the over.
I'm taking the under, and I think it would be the funniest thing possible if – now, I say this. I think it would be hysterical in one way for Carolina to somehow win this game and beat NC State the next week to get bowl eligible and keep NC State from becoming bowl eligible themselves. I think that would be hilarious.
That would be fantastic.
I don't think that it's going to happen, but Carolina they've started to come around at the back half of the year. Honestly, when they started playing conference games, like seemed like stuff started to kind of click for them at times. I'm going to take Duke to win, UNC to cover, and I'm taking the under.
Jared's got a classic. Duke, Carolina.
Wow. Well, the biggest game of the weekend, regardless of what anyone else says, to determine who gets to watch from the catbird seat in the Big Ten as their third representative. USC goes to Oregon, number 15 in the CFP ranking at number 7. Plus 295 outright for USC, plus 9.5 as a road dog. Oregon minus 375, and the over-under is set at 59.5. I'm going to say it now. USC gets the win, and the under hits barely.
Yeah, I desperately want Lincoln Riley to succeed at USC. I want him to get it together. It's been long enough. He needs to get it together. My head's telling me Oregon, but I'm going USC. And I'm also going to go the under. 9.5 is crazy. There's no way Oregon's winning this game, but that's crazy.
I'm going to go Oregon money line, USC to cover, and I'm taking the under just barely.
Only 10% of people have picked USC to win in the college pick'em for this week. So,
yeah, I'm looking at that now. Mm-hmm. Can I go back? I thought of a walk the plank.
Sure, go ahead.
The James Madison fans thinking that they were actually getting College Game Day against Washington State.
Again. They thought they were getting College Game Day again.
When College Game Day has just shown this year that they do not care about the group of 5. I mean.
Yeah, I got to understand. That's a once-in-a-generation lifetime.
Well, they've had it 3 times.
Have they had it 3 times?
Yeah, in the FCS. They had it when they were in FCS still.
Oh, wow. I did not know they had it 3 times.
They've had it 3 times. And, I mean, I get it. It'd be one thing if you weren't like you played one team that is above 500. I think you would absolutely get worked in the American Conference. I mean, if you want to join the American Conference, come be my guest.
They wouldn't work.
I think that they wouldn't be blowing out teams the way they are if they were playing South Florida, Tulane. And I know what I sound like.
There is no dominant American teams. They would get worked in this conference, but.
I mean, you're not beating up on the Georgia States of the world. To be fair, Georgia State beat us a couple years ago, and James Madison also beat us when they were FCS. But I digress. ECU football is back. But if they had a whole news publication saying that they had sources telling them that it was happening, and then people were booking travel to Harrisonburg. Y'all are idiots. If you believe that, I have some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you because that wasn't happening. All right.
That I do agree. Yeah, there's absolutely. I mean, there's absolutely no way they would go into that game.
All right, last game on the docket are our East Carolina Pirates minus 135 outright, 2.5 point road favorite at UTSA in the Alamo Dome, plus 114 outright with a 56.5 point over under. I'm going to take this one last. I'll let y'all fight out for first.
ECU covers. Give me the over. There you go. I'm done.
I gotta agree. ECU. I think ECU covers. It just feels different this year. They've played UTSA well, beating them last year. You forget 2023. They had a real shot at taking down the Roadrunners, but Mike Houston couldn't manage a football game to save his life, so ended up losing that game. I'm taking ECU to beat UTSA, and I'll take the over. I think there's a lot of points in this game.
So I've been doing the simulations over and over and over again. This is the latest one. No free ads, Verbo.
Jesus.
This is the latest one. This is I literally just hit submit for this right here. I just hit submit, and this is what I got. This is what I just got.
Did the defenses get blown up or something?
Well, that says 6 overtimes. So.
6 overtimes. Okay.
That says 356. 6. Oh my goodness.
But we're looking at the averages here. The average San Antonio score is 32.7, and the average ECU score is 26.2. Decided by less than 5 points, 21% of the time. Out of the 137 matchups, there have been 4 overtimes. This happens to be one of them, apparently. But UTSA has won 64% of these simulations and has won by 20 points or more, 15% basically.
Josh,
I'm just saying.
I love you, brother.
I'm just saying.
This ain't it.
UTSA. I'm going UTSA to win.
You can walk the damn plank.
And the over to hit.
You can walk the damn plank, my friend.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I think he's trying to do the whole, hey, look, somebody's got to pick UTSA so that ECU can actually win. Because if we all pick ECU, then we know what happens. So.
Okay, apparently now I'm getting nothing but what ECU wins now.
Yeah, because they listen to the Boneyard. Fuck this thing.
I'm just saying.
I've never wanted to fight a computer this much.
That's wild though. 6 overtimes.
That was a crazy one. That was a crazy one.
If we get to 6 overtimes, I might just end it all. Like I can't do 6 overtimes. That might put me in, dude. All right. Good episode, boys. There's a draft in the air. I'm kind of chilly. Anyways, good episode. Pirates are 7-3 on the season. Don't look now, but the Pirates are back. We appreciate all of you joining us this week on the Boneyard Podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast: Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Like us, subscribe to us on YouTube. Smash that notification bell, and then follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast. Last but not least, don't listen to Josh. Use our promo code for 20% off at roback.com. Boneyard20. Boneyard20. 20% off your entire order. Christmas is coming up.
Show is.
If
About 5 weeks. You got 5 weeks now. You got 5
If
you got 3 weeks.
ladies, if you're trying to tell Santa Claus what your husband wants for Christmas, it's throwback. That ECU pullover. Those ECU polos. Maybe some joggers. I'm looking for some joggers.
My man's all about the joggers now. He's finally realized how comfortable joggers can be around the house.
I just need a shirt at this point.
Doing some yard work.
Nah, jeans and boots already for yard work. Come on now.
Jeans and boots for yard work. Wow.
I'm a civilized man.
You must hate the boys down there.
I'll throw the I'll throw the old gray Asics on. You know, the ones that are stained green from the last 3 years. My pinky toe hangs out the side of them.
My boy like swamp ass and turf toe if he's wearing jeans and boots for yard work.
Man, the trick is wearing some duck boots. That's the trick.
No, it's not the trick at all. Tennis shoes.
When it's already, I was outside leaf blowing when it was 30 degrees last week. Put on some boots.
Tennis shoes on.
Put on some boots to keep your toesies nice and warm. Toesies nice and warm. Anyways, go damn Pirates. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go beat UTSA and end this winning streak. I'm tired of hearing about them. I'm tired of hearing about UTSA. Welcome to the big boy club. And yeah, let's go. Let's go, Artie. Say your thing. Let's get out of here. I just want to put a shirt on.
We love y'all, Pirate Nation. Let's go whip some what are they? The Road Runners? Some Road Runner ass this weekend. Wash your hands, wash your butts. Deuce.
Go damn Pirates.